I have been reading recently. I started reading these probably, well, I guess kind of since the beginning of the year. I would say maybe actually starting around March, because I was trying to get through a few books, like physical books that I had, but when I got a Kindle, I kind of fell in love with it, which I wasn't expecting because I love a physical book. But yeah, I've just really liked being able to pop this in my bag and have I've been reading like a series recently, which I'll get onto because it's brilliant. But yeah, like if I get to the end of a book, it's quite nice just being able to flick to the next one and have that ready and waiting. So yeah, I've been really enjoying this. So the books that I'm going to talk to you about today are books that I've been reading on my Kindle. To start with, I was kind of just getting to know how to work the Kindle because I've never had one before, and I found out that there were loads of free books on there, so I was like, amazing, I'm gonna have a little explore and see what there is. But I also, more recently, maybe a month ago, decided to invest in what's it called? Kindle Unlimited. I can't remember how much it is a month. I think I got in on a deal that was like $7.99 a month, and I love that because the series that I'm reading at the moment is included, and there are a couple of others that I want to read that are included as well, so that's been amazing. So the first book, I'm going to refer to my Kindle for the order that I read in, but I also made a couple of notes because I read these a little while ago, so I have my little list here. So the first free book that I read was The Birthday by Carol Wire, and this was, I'm for some reason particularly drawn to kind of crime thriller style books. I don't know why. I have recently moved away from that genre just to kind of read something that's a little bit lighter, and something that's maybe a little bit more relaxing, because I like to read before bed for like half an hour. So yeah, this was before I made the move away from crime and thriller. So yes, The Birthday by Carol Wire. I didn't write any notes on this one because this story actually stuck with me. I will not do any spoilers, but basically there is a birthday party for it's a children's birthday party that happens in a garden centre, and there's like a plant section, as you would expect to find, and you know, kind of like the usual bits and bobs like clothes, blah blah blah. But there's also like a children's birthday party service that the garden centre offers, which includes a petting zoo, stuff like that, probably like games and things. And there is a little girl in a yellow dress, and she disappears. And no searching of CCTV helps. No one seems to have seen her. The kids at the party are all quite young. I think they're 5. And yeah, so she disappears. And then, so that's the sort of intro, and then it fast forwards, and I wouldn't say that this is a spoiler to the main story, but basically the body of the young child is uncovered, and from there more children start to go missing, and it's about how everyone is connected, and you kind of uncover the mystery with the detectives and kind of get to know how everything is interwoven. That's all I'm going to say. But I would recommend it. I wouldn't say, I don't think it's like a predictable, I find it really difficult to be, to recommend or not recommend crime thrillers, because something that maybe another person would find quite thrilling, I think because I've just read so many thrillers, I'm maybe not as impacted by the things that are meant to be shocking, but it was a really good read, maybe like a 4 out of 5. I wasn't like gripped, but the story is tragic, and there are there's multiple leads, and I guess you wouldn't necessarily know which way it's going to turn. So that's that one. Now the next book that I read was called One Left Alive by Helen Pfeiffer. This one was quite good. I would say this one's better than The Birthday, in my opinion. I did make notes on this one though. So, One Left Alive. So, it starts with the body of, there's a theme, thrillers again. It starts with the body of a mother found, I won't go into detail, but the body of a mother is found, and by an individual, and I don't want to, again, ruin anything, so the body of the mother is found, and inside the building is the rest of her family, and the conditions under which the family and herself are found are quite suspicious. So there's an investigation into what could have happened to that family and how it is linked to the history of the house. So I don't think I've given too much away there. I'm just going to look at my list. Yeah, I think that's all I'll say on that for now. Yeah, it's hard to know how much to give away, but it is a good book. Let me see if I can get the synopsis up, because then about this book. Sorry, I see install. Can you tell I'm not very savvy on it? I just find the book that I want to read and then I just read it. I'm just going to make sure that I haven't left anything out. Yeah, so, I mean, the synopsis goes into it a little bit more, but one of the members of the family is found alive, which is why it's called One Left Alive. Somebody is found still alive, and it's kind of about trying to extract enough information to understand like what's gone on. There are multiple leads and suspects, and it's kind of a work in progress to whittle it down to who would have been the culprit. So like follows the same classic whodunit kind of vibe. The next one that I read was, don't know if you heard that, but that was my stomach, was The House at Magpie Cove. So this was me trying something different. So I would say that this is kind of like it's a romance, I would say, but It felt like a one-off to me, but actually I can see from reading the synopsises of the other books that there probably could be more to it. So once I'm done with the series I'm reading right now, maybe I'll venture into it. So this one is about a woman who inherits a house in Cornwall, in England, and the house is in total disrepair. There's holes in the ceiling. It's right on the edge of the cliff, so it's just getting battered by any strong winds or the waves and everything like that. She has 2 children, and her husband has just filed for divorce against her. He was cheating on her, and it's kind of all about how she finds herself again. The person who left her the house was her mum, so her mother passed away, left her the house, and the husband kind of saw that as an opportunity for her to have something that she can move into so that they are able to divorce. So you kind of get a flavour for what their relationship was like and how slowly over time she lost her identity, I suppose. But there is a new love interest, of course, and you know, there's lines of friendship that run throughout. You know, things that only like mothers would experience, finding new work, things like that. Let me see what else there is that I've said. Yeah, I think that's about it. But it is a really lovely story. And I did kind of find myself wondering, like, oh, I wonder if, like, how things have gone for the character, which is nice. I find sometimes with romances I can get a little bit bored because I feel like sometimes they're a little bit too rounded off at the end. I like to know that my imagination can kind of be left wandering sometimes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not about a major cliffhanger. I can sometimes find that a bit annoying. Basically I'm really fussy. I don't want to know everything, but I like to have some peace at the end. I don't like to feel stressed, wondering about what's gone on. Let me just check. Why is that one gone? Oh, that's because I opened it. So the next was another thriller called Vanishing Girls. Now, just double check that I'm talking about the right. Yeah, this one I actually really enjoyed. I did find like it had a bit of everything, and I actually was suspenseful, if that's the right word. I was filled with suspense at certain parts, and I would say up until this point most books that I had read I could kind of put down, and I wasn't going, oh, just one more chapter, you know. I wasn't gripped in the same way, whereas with this one there were a few moments where like you found your heart racing. It follows a detective called Josie who is suspended from her workforce, and am I talking about the right person? Yeah, I am. Just checking. Yeah, so she's suspended from her police department, and girls have been going missing in her town. And again, I don't want to give Sorry, my Kindle is just frozen on me. So she basically wants to find out what's going on. There is an element of police corruption, a lot of small town, behind the scenes, again corruption I suppose, but you know, when it is corruption, but like subtle, you know, when there's just all those people in high places pulling strings, and I feel like it needs to be like a worse word than corruption for it, because if you read it you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. So if you do read it, let me know in the comments, because I hate when you read a book and you have nobody to kind of talk to about it. But basically that's the crux of the story. I wish I could do it justice, but the fact that I was gripped by it really surprised me. So that's all I can do to try and sway you to read it. The next one that I read was I would say like it's still a detective vibe, but less thriller than Vanishing Girls. Vanishing Girls I think would probably be the best one that I've read out of the ones that I've told you about so far. So this next one is called Need You by Blake Pierce, and this is about a private investigator called Daisy Fortune, who has taken over the family business that her father set up, and he is now unable to be a PI. He has entered a nursing home, but is still really heavily invested emotionally in the business. So he's always asking Daisy for updates, but she is not getting the business in like she used to. Her father was well known for cracking a big case back in the day, and she felt like she should try and keep his legacy alive by becoming a PI herself, but is finding it a bit of a struggle to get the business in, not to crack the cases, but just getting clients to start with, until she has a very glamorous person come into her office asking her to solve the murder of her fiance. And her fiance is a very wealthy man, the son of a very wealthy couple. The woman who enters her office is also a very wealthy person, and basically Daisy gets flown out to somewhere very far away, and she has to live on the grounds that the family own, and it kind of looks into the life of the filthy rich and the connections that the son had, and the friends and the company that he kept, and basically she finds that everybody's a suspect, everybody has possibly a motive to want this man dead, and it is up to Daisy to kind of work out who it is, I suppose. And that's all I'm going to tell you. But I would say, even though it follows a serious topic, I could really easily see this one becoming a movie. I don't think it is one. very Hollywood, it's very glitzy, and I could see it sort of being made into not a comedy, because it's again a serious topic, but there are elements of it where you could see humour, even if it's dark humour. But yeah, it was good. Again, it wasn't a particularly gripping read, but enjoyable. Now, the main series that I have been reading recently. So this, I started this once I had Kindle Unlimited, and it was kind of a driving force behind me buying it, to be honest. A friend of mine, she recommended the series Zodiac Academy, and I hadn't really read any fantasy fiction in a really long time, and I did try A Court of Thorns and Roses. I actually have it right there, I can see it, by Sarah J. Maas, and I just couldn't get into it at all. She has since told me that I need to persist, because, and I have heard this a few times from other YouTubers as well, that once you get past the first book, the next are better, and that the first book serves almost as like a laying the foundations for the better story in, I think it's the next 2 books, is there? Maybe there's more. So I might try that at some stage, but I just couldn't get into it. So anyway, my friend recommended that I start Zodiac Academy, and I thought, do you know what, I'll give it a go. She gave me the warning that it's quite racy. There are a lot of sexy scenes, a lot. I was surprised at how much. But the story is, in my opinion, really good. So I'll try and explain it, because I still get confused myself. There is the series, the Zodiac Academy, and let me just tell you who they're all by the way. I can't even see that because it's so tiny about the writing. Not very organised, I'm sorry. Suzanne Valenti, and Caroline Peckham. I want to say they're sisters, I might be wrong, but I think that they are. So a dual author on that. So you have the Zodiac Academy, and then you have Ruthless Boys, and I think it's 4 books that you read of Zodiac Academy before you then flick into the Ruthless Boys. I'm just going to put my Kindle down. And the first 4 books basically follow the story of a set of twins, Tori and Darcy, who are in the mortal realm, and they live quite a troubled life. They are in and out of foster care. They are struggling to get by. I think it's Chicago that they live in. And Tori is renowned for being a bit of a thief, and Darcy is just struggling along with her sister. But Tori doesn't like to involve Darcy as much in their antics. So one day, Tori and Darcy, I won't go into the details, but they get swept away to the Fey realm, which is Celeria. Well, that's how I pronounce it anyway. And taken to an academy, the Zodiac Academy, whereby they discover their true Fey identity. based on their identity, they come up against various challenges and opponents. There are 4 main opponents. They are known as the Heirs, 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 and I told you there are sexy scenes, so you can put 2 and 2 together. The 4 Heirs are male, and then there's Darcy and Tori. So there you go. But I love how the authors totally created this world that just I will never get over how authors are able to create entire worlds that everyone can just visualize. Yeah, it's really good. So then the Ruthless Boys series, I'm not doing these books any justice by the way by describing them as I am, but I also don't want to give away anything. The Ruthless Boys is almost like a pre-series, so even though you're reading them between the Zodiac Academy series, the Ruthless Boys technically happens prior to Zodiac Academy goings on, but it works because the characters who you meet within the Zodiac Academy, you learn a bit of their background and you kind of go, oh, that makes sense, I understand why that person is as they are, or it just kind of fills in a lot of blanks. So yeah, really good. And that story mostly follows the extra characters perhaps who become important but are not maybe the focus of the Zodiac Academy, but are equally going through it in their own series. So again, there's draws for both perspectives. The realm has things like dragons. Basically every fae has an order form, which is something like a dragon, but they're rare, a Pegasus, a Medusa, a Sphinx, vampire. Can't think of any others right now. But I have lived and breathed this series for probably over a month now. I am obsessed, and I call my friend. She works on, she is a stew on the ships. She's on one ship, anyway. So between her shifts, she gets back to me, but she just gets voice notes from me being like, why has this happened? Why are they like this? What? Like, I can't believe this has just happened. And she just laughs at me because she's read them all now. And she's like, I'm not saying anything, I'm not giving you any hints, but I 100% appreciate how you feel. And it's so nice just having that person to kind of bounce off. And she comes back in the summer, and we've said we're just going to have a day where we just read together and lay in the sun and have some nice food, and honestly I can't wait. It's nice to have a friend who you can talk to about books. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving this series. You have to read it. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea, I understand, but I think it's worth a try. If you have any interest at all in you know, the fantasy realms, just complete escapism, to be honest. I was saying to my friend, like, I want to go to Zodiac Academy. It doesn't sound like, it's not anything like a high school. Not that I go to high school because I haven't ever been taught in the States, but like the lessons are all based on like their powers, whether it be water, air, fire or earth. because they have more resources to draw on. And what I find quite interesting is in the Zodiac Academy series, the two sisters have to kind of learn not to be human anymore and to be Fae, and there are certain rules that Fae have to follow. One example that I'll give you, which doesn't give anything away necessarily, is that Fae can't interfere if there's a fight between two Fae. Another Fae can't get involved, and they have to allow them to fight it out, and then, you know, someone has to submit if they can't take it. So you can imagine that if the girls are twins and they're always used to having each other's backs, but if one enters a altercation, not getting involved isn't the easiest thing. I mean, it's not easy if it's not your twin, you know, if you've got a friend or family member, you always want to back them up. But yeah, you're not able to do that in this realm, so that's where they seem to come across some difficulty. But those other books I have read so far, in the Zodiac Academy series I've read 4 books, and I'm on the 4th Ruthless Boys book. So I think after this Ruthless Boy book, I flick back to the Zodiac Academy. I don't know how many I have left, but I think there's still a few. So I've read 8 in total of that. Those 2 combined series. So how many books have I read? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I've read 13 books. I have read another, but I gave it to charity because I don't have space for loads of books in my house, and I didn't remember to keep hold of it for a video. But the book that I read was The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Incredible, absolutely incredible. I never really understood why everybody went on about it, because I don't like how it's written, because it's a series of quotes and advice from different philosophers or people from different walks of life, so it doesn't really flow. But what I did was I watched The Secret on Amazon Prime, and it is free on Amazon Prime. And once I watched it, reading it made a lot more sense, because of how it was filmed. You kind of get the flow of what the point of the messages are within the book. So it's not often I actually prefer watching something and then reading, but in that case it was actually quite helpful for me to digest the information. So yeah, that's the other books. So technically I've read 4 books so far in the past. So 14 books in the past 4 months, I think. So not too bad, actually. The Zodiac Academy obviously making up a large majority of those books, and that's because I have just been obsessed. So yeah, if you've read the Zodiac Academy, let me know, because I just want to bond with more people over it, because I'm still enthralled in that world at the moment. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna do what I'm going to read next video at some stage. I need to kind of decide what series I want to kind of get onto, so if you have any recommendations, I'd love to hear them. I think there's a Holly Black book, I think I've got her name right, The Cruel Prince, things like that. I am enjoying the fantasy realm at the moment, so I'm happy to keep on board with those. I also have downloaded the Harry Potter series because I read them years and years ago, and I think I want to reread them, because when I say years ago, I mean when they first came out and I was under 10. Like I was learning to read, or not learning to series, and it's called The Sorcerer's Stone. But yeah, that was the last time I read them, and then each book as they came out, I read them at the time. So yeah, I want to read them from an adult's perspective now and see what they're like.